Hi, my name is Newell Davis with World Composting, and as you know, I've been covering a lot for my Vitamix Eco 5 that I received, and 14 days ago, I added some to one of my worm bins. This worm bin had been sitting for months, it needed an update, it needed some food, and I added that with a lot of water. I did do a little bit of video in between, a quick short, because I saw that it heated up quite a bit to about 80 some degrees, and I added some more water, left the top off a little bit, covered it back again later. But just so you know, if you're using this to create bedding for your worm bins, you got to make sure that there's some space for those worms to get away. This bin did not really have that, which is why I had to be really careful. I had to water it down and kind of cool it down into the 70s again. But it really could be good for somebody who has a system outside that maybe you're trying to put some stuff in, trying to keep it warm during the winter, and you can add enough food to keep a bin warm, but this would make it a lot easier to just be able to dump a bunch of stuff on the top and be like, hey, it's going to heat up. Or if you have a compost pile, it should do the same thing. As you add in this material, it can mix in with your carbon materials, and it actually should heat up really well. I was surprised at how much it heated up, but it's good to see that it did that. So with that, let's take a look at this bin after 14 days, see how it's doing, and go from there. All right, here's our system. I wrote out down on the bottom here, Vitamix 1005. Today is the 19th of October, so as I said, 2 weeks. And let me grab my glove here, and let's go ahead and open this thing up and take a look here. So first off, we've got a little bit of white mold in here, it looks like. There's some buildup in the center here of some castings. Got a worm that's, I don't know if you can see it or not, a worm that's up here. Feels like this is starting to break down this bubble wrap a little bit, which can happen, I think, especially with heat. Now, we do have this white mold that's sort of growing around the bin. That can happen, and it looks like the sides are very dry where that's growing, which isn't surprising. But with that, let's just go take a look in here and see how these worms are doing. And look at this. Remember, when we looked in here, there weren't a lot of worms in here, but all of a sudden, there are a bunch of worms in here, and they look decent size. They look pretty healthy. Material feels pretty nice in the center here. Has a very earthy smell to it, though, compared to, I mean, like, I haven't cracked open a worm bin in a while, but very earthy smell it smells like. Worms are a little bit yellow. That might be some heat stress or some stress from maybe the heat that was in there before, but a lot of them look very healthy. They're really hanging out in the center section, but they all have gained a lot of weight. Remember before, they looked really tiny when I first checked on them. I'm really happy to see this. It looks like this is working pretty well. A couple of really large ones in here. It almost looks like a European nightcrawler instead of a red wiggler. So with that, it looks like this is working pretty well. As I said, we've got these outside edges that are just a little bit too dry. We've still got some of that other bedding material in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some more material in general to this system. So we're going to mix this up a little bit. It's going to give it a chance to get everything nice and wet again. We're going to add a lot more moisture. As you can tell, let me just go down to the bottom here real quick. There's no moisture in the bottom here anymore. Like we flooded this system essentially, and that's all gone. So look at this. You can see this is like a worm ball right here. A little bit of an odor maybe in this area. Yeah, that smells a little bit ripe there. Something's not quite something's still breaking down in that area, but not bad. But it's just not great. But you can see that this. I mean, there's actually maybe some food in here. It looks like that's a banana peel in here too. So it looks like there's still some stuff in here that's breaking down, but like this worked really well. The worms quickly became healthy and nice and hydrated with adding that water to it. Again, a little bit of moisture in there, a little bit of an odor in that section right there that was kind of clumped together. Again, very healthy worms though. So yeah, this is doing really well. I'm going to add some more bedding material in here, I think. And actually, we're going to add a layer, maybe add a little bit more of this mix. It looks like there's still stuff for them to eat in here, but I'm going to add a little bit more of our mixture of Vitamix stuff here. So I'm going to just grab a small container here that I use for water, and we're just going to kind of sprinkle this on top again, just like this, just nice and lightly. By the way, this is very little that I'm adding really because, believe it or not, this stuff really cooks everything down. We're going to add then some water. As I said, we're going to add a lot of water. We've got to add a lot of moisture to this. Let this get mixed in really well. And why are we adding so much water? Because last time, it was starting to heat up and dry out. This way there's extra water in there. And then we're going to go ahead and add in some more paper as a bedding material. Now this paper is not pre-moistened, so we're going to add some more water on top of this as well. But we're going to go ahead and add in some more paper. As you can see, it's a lot of mixture of paper and cardboard. Worms will break down all of it, which is perfectly fine. We're going to add a whole bunch more in here. And we're going to try to get the system maybe going again just by using this material and not any of our normal food. So, yeah, just a little bit more water in here. And I really don't feel I need to add, like, I know that normally I would add my crushed crab and eggshell, which I keep in my little, shaker container here. I don't need to do that for this. And the reason why is because I actually am adding those eggshells directly to the Vitamix. So this already has shells in it. I also did an entire lobster, or 2 lobsters actually. So this should already have plenty of shell and material like that in there. I'm just going to see, let me get my my sprayer going here real quick. I'm going to spray this the top down. And that way, everything's nice and wet on the top here. Look at that, there we go. Nice and wet. Let me just turn that off real quick. And that way, everything's nice and wet. We have a fresh thing of food, some fresh bedding in here as well, even though there was some bedding left anyhow. And we're going to let this sit for a longer period of time and see how well this does. We're going to try to run this entire bin just on these Vitamix stuff and make sure the worms stay healthy in here. So with that, I'm going to cover this back up. I'm going to have to redo the labeling on here. I still have the Vitamix label on the bottom here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cover that up with our latest date of 10/19. I had to look at my watch again. And that way we have for our dates on here. So I'm going to go ahead and just cover up that date with some masking tape there. Double it over. And that way we can start double checking on this bin and see how well these worms can do with this type of system. So far it looks like they've, part of it is just adding water, so that's why they look bigger. They've rehydrated after being dried out. But the food in here is going to be the big thing. They're going to need stuff to eat other than cardboard. And actually, I might even need to move this off. We'll see if this heats up again. I'll maybe do another short, YouTube short if it starts heating up again. But thank you for watching. If you have any more questions, let me know. I am going to have my final review of the Vitamix Eco 5 coming up. So far, it has handled everything really well that I've thrown at it. I'll give you that heads up right now, including, as I said, 2 lobsters. And it's doing really well. But I'm going to have a full video at the end here. And we'll kind of step back in, and then you can ask any questions you want. Maybe we'll even do like a live feed on it and just go through any questions people might have on that system. All right. With that, thank you for watching, and if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below.